And hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the XL Tribesman podcast. Now, today, y'all might have heard me say I be having very special episodes, but today is a very special episode because I have someone that I was just telling Kristian before we got on the podcast how, like, I grew up learning you don't have this much access to your pastor because you're supposed to have a certain fear and reverence for them. So much so that you can't access them. That means you shouldn't be able to talk to them unless you have problems and they need to help you, but like not assist them or like be their friends. You don't do that. And so I have my pastor on today, Kristian Smith. I have so many questions. First one, when did you know you were going to be a pastor?
When did I know I was going to be a pastor? Oh, God. I don't know when I knew. As a kid, I admired pastors, but I didn't have any pressure from my parents to go into ministry. And I saw myself going into the corporate sector, being in organizational executive leadership. And
very specific role.
Yeah. Like I wanted to be in the C-suite of a Fortune 500 company, casting vision, leading leaders. That's what I wanted to do.
Plan for your life.
Yeah, absolutely. But then I started. Yeah. And I started preaching in 2007. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm probably going to pastor because now I'm preaching, and pastoring is organizational leadership at a very high level when you take it seriously. So I think I'll say
eventually become the CEO of the Fortune 500 company. Wait, are churches on the Fortune 500 company list?
No. I wonder if they can.
I don't think so. Yeah, because I think you have to be for profit. But anyway, so, okay. Right. But you still end up doing what you said you wanted to do.
That's the crazy thing about it, Kirkland. Like, a lot of the things I said I wanted to do, I still wound up doing them, but in different ways. Because I also, while I was in undergrad at Alabama A&M, I took, telecommunications was my major, so a lot of like video production, journalism, stuff like that. And I really in college was like, I want to be an analyst on ESPN. Like I want to,
You want to be a sports analyst?
Yeah, I want to be a sports analyst.
You always had high level jobs for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I like what I like.
I mean, it's so good that you had such great dreams and aspirations. I mean, I did too. Sometimes I feel like I'm alone in that. Like, since I was 2, I wanted to own my own cell phone company. That's always been my dream.
Oh, wow.
And I was on my way to that, actually, in some sort of weird way, that I got turned around by just life and being not going the direction I wanted to, but I was making my way into I started a cell phone accessory company that was supposed to lead me with the finances to then lead me into maybe being what the people at Deloitte do, and not advisor, the people who, yes, I wanted, that was gonna be my way in the door. I wanted to be a consultant for one of the big 4. Well, at the time it was 4, now it's 3. But I wanted to be a consultant for them, and my consultant was going to my door. That was going to be my entryway into eventually gaining the money and capital to own my own. That was going to be my plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I did video production and stuff in college and decided I wanted to be on ESPN, like that dream seemed to fade away. And I just realized over the past couple of months, looking at how we record the Holy Smoke Cigars and Spirituality podcast, like it looks a lot like what you see on ESPN when you got the different talking heads and the different boxes. Like I was like, oh shoot, I'm doing what I said I wanted to do, just in a different context. Instead of analyzing sports, I'm analyzing theology.
Isn't it interesting how you always end up back doing the thing? It looked differently, and that's the thing that was, the thing for me is that, like, your dreams, you always end up living out your dreams. It just it doesn't look how you imagined it would look, because eventually you'll be a talking head. You just will be talking about theology.
Right?
That's what happened. So you're in college, you taking mass communication, you want to become a analyst on ESPN. So at what point does that dream get deferred? Because that's what we're going to call it, because it came true, but at that time it deferred.
Right. I discovered coming out of undergrad that I didn't take advantage of internships and co-ops like I should have. And I didn't, just opportunities for students to get relative work experience.
Okay.
Yeah. So just, opportunities to get into an actual work environment and get experience and network and make connections, so that when you finish your degree, you already have a foot into certain doors.
Yes, and I agree.
I didn't do that in undergrad. I was a football player. My whole focus was do well at football, do well in the classroom, and I sang in the gospel choir for fun. And that was it. So I didn't do any internships or any of that stuff. So I realized once I graduated, I'm not in the best position to go that route right now. And I had started my MBA. I got a job in banking and decided I would just pursue that career path until that ended rather abruptly too.
I never would take you for a banker. See, you learn all kinds of new stuff on this shit. I never took you as a banker. You just, I don't know. I got banker from you. Like, you don't give me bank manager vibes. You give me very C level, A level exec all the time. But maybe this is the new you.
Well, I mean, I had aspirations once I got into banking to be the CEO of the bank. So I was still going to wind up in that space. I had great opportunities my first 2.5 years in banking before the recession hit. Like I was getting promoted like crazy. And then the recession hit, relocated from Huntsville, Alabama to Atlanta for family reasons. And
Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah. I love that place. I can't tell you why, but I really do.
Really? We'll have to talk about that offline. Yeah.
I really love that place. I've been there 6 times, and I love it.
I love it because of the people there that I love.
I only know one person there that I go see, but I like it. Like, the city is so. It reminds me of how it felt when I first moved to Atlanta. It's like it's gonna be the shit, and it's like right there on the cusp, but it's bubbling. So you could get in while all the real estate is cheap. Yeah, it gives me pre Atlanta 2000 vibes.
Yeah. It was just Huntsville. Huntsville was just ranked the #1 place to live in the country by some source. I don't remember what the source was, but all of my Huntsville friends were posting it on social media because they were so proud.
I remember. I can't think of the was it realtor.com? I can't remember the place, but one of those, I saw that too, and I said, I know why. Because it's the cheapest real estate in the country, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons. Yeah, because I look at houses there all the time, and I'm just like, in Atlanta, this is like 5 times the price. I feel like I want to buy now and just sit on it. But yeah, that's more along the reasons why I like it. Real estate, I feel like I said, it's a very black city that's growing its way to becoming another Atlanta. Y'all need to drop the Hunts Vegas name though. Y'all really gotta drop that name.
Only locals call it Hunts Vegas. Like no, so I went to school there for college. So there was a difference between the people I went to college with and the locals. And some of my classmates were locals, but I didn't really hear my classmates referring to Huntsville as Hunts Vegas like that.
Vegas. Yeah,
that's hilarious to me. That's hilarious. And I'm surprised you see it as a black city or a city that's like known for having black people. That wasn't my.
I don't know if it's known for that. Remember, I'm a visitor, but when I go, it's maybe it's because where I go.
It could be. It could be.
It's hella black when I go. Where I go. Where you go. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Just like pretty much any other city, Huntsville is definitely segregated across racial lines. Depending on what part of the city that you're in.
So I hear that very, very strongly exists there, which I don't like that part. But for that reason, I like Huntsville. So you went to college in Huntsville. Do you want to tell the people what college you went to? Because y'all HBCUs, y'all love.
Absolutely.
Y'all love to talk about y'all schools.
Absolutely. I'm a proud 2-time alum of Alabama Agricultural and Mechanical University, otherwise known as Alabama A&M. Played some football.
For me.
Yeah. Absolutely. I played some football there. Did my undergrad, did my MBA there. Good times. Those are some really, really good years at Alabama A&M.
Good. I went to PWI and I have no debt.
I didn't have any debt until I went to a PWI. Go figure.
Oh, that's because did you have a football scholarship? Is that why?
I had a football scholarship to A&M. Yeah.
Oh, we aren't all that lucky.
I was blessed. I was fortunate. Yeah.
Okay. So after the recession hits, you move. So that's what, 2008, 2009, 2010, somewhere?
2009, I moved to Atlanta.
Okay. And you started to preach at this time, right?
I started preaching in 2007. Yeah. So, I was preaching 2009, recession hits. My niece and nephew were in a very tight situation where I felt compelled to move to Atlanta to be a more significant presence in their lives. At that time, 2009, I was 25, didn't know a whole lot about how the world works, and wasn't even thinking about the fact that we were in a recession. I just thought about how many marketable skills that I had and wasn't really considering, but I wasn't considering supply and demand. Like there just weren't jobs available. Mm-hmm. So, I didn't find anything when I moved here. I had to completely start my career all over again. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, I was able to be there for my niece and nephew, had guardianship of them for 15 months with my ex-wife. And then after I divorced my wife, my niece and nephew went back with my sister, their mom. I was able to start focusing on, okay, now what am I supposed to do with my life now that everything has started over from scratch?
Over again. Okay. So 18 months takes you into 2010-ish.
Yeah. Actually, so I moved in 2009 before I got the kids. I got the kids in 2010, I think. And then they went back to live with their mom like mid 2011.
Okay. All right. So at this point, you've been preaching for multiple years at this point.
Absolutely.
So where does fashion come into this picture? Because I don't think P Square, from what I know, is that old of a company. So what year does fashion come in for you? Because you busy.
It's always been there.
At the good Baptist churches.
Oh, right? Yeah. This one I had a little itinerary before I started doing all this inclusive ministry and affirming people that the church said I shouldn't affirm. So I I moved to Atlanta 2009, 2011. I had a pretty cool itinerary when I was like completely single. And I mean, so 2011, after the kids went back to live with my sister and I separated, divorced from my wife, then I was just, I was in my whole phase for a little bit. And
sometimes it's very necessary.
It was a good time. It was a good time. And then I was working at Delta Community Credit Union. Like, so that's how I restarted my career. The first full-time job I got when I moved to Atlanta was a teller at Delta Community Credit Union. And I got that job because I had been a baggage handler at Delta Airlines. So I was a ready reserve baggage handler at Delta Airlines.
See, this is why you can't judge a book by its cover. Kristian, maybe this is because how I see you now, but nothing about you tells me that you do anything where you have to pick up things. Bro. Nothing about you says I pick up bags.
Bro, let me tell you something.
Nothing about you looks like you get dirty.
No, you have no idea. Like, so my dad used to raise me in California, splitting, hauling, and stacking wood on the weekends. Like, I was a city kid that was raised in a country house because my dad is from the Mississippi Delta. So I'm no stranger to hard work. Like, I'd rather work with my brain, but I've put in some work over the years. Yeah, so I did baggage handling for 6 months, just trying to restart my career. I was a baggage handler at Delta Airlines with 2 degrees and years of experience in banking. And I went on, did the teller job at the credit union. Then I got promoted into the IRA department.
And they were one company, weren't they?
Exactly. Had the bomb flight privileges.
Oh, I remember.
Oh my God.
I wanted that job forever.
I miss it so much.
I'm mad they separated.
I miss it so much. Like,
lost us customers too, by the way. Because we don't get to pay some more.
Yep. All of that.
I'm mad. I'm mad about that. But But so, when do you introduce? Because I'm trying to what I want to figure out too is like when do you realize, because the guy that I know and anybody that's watching this that knows you on the internet knows, like you're always fashionably dressed. That's your thing because you own a custom clothier. So
right.
When do you realize, at what point in your life do you realize that you are like you have this fashion nick for fashion?
So I knew it from a young age. I always liked fashion, and it was kind of nurtured by my parents indirectly. My mom is a seamstress. She would make outfits for us. My father took me with him to the custom shop a couple of times when he was getting custom shirts made. So I got exposed to that process at a young age when I was like barely a teenager. And I like putting clothes together, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think of it as a gift or a skill. I just thought it was something that you're supposed to do. So,
so you thought everybody was that fly?
I thought, yeah, like, to me, style is art, right? And I enjoy it. I enjoy getting up in the morning, putting things together. And putting together an outfit. So when I was in undergrad, a couple of my classmates, teammates would ask me to help them put together looks. I didn't think anything of it. It was just like, yeah, no problem. I'll help you out. And when I fast forward to 2013, when I was working at the credit union, I got kind of pigeonholed in this one position and they wouldn't let me out. So I knew, because my father always taught me, a call to preach is a call to prepare. So make sure you do the work to prepare for your ministry. So I knew I was going to go to seminary eventually. the fact that I got pigeonholed in this job at the credit union was like a sign to me that maybe I should start considering seminary, because I know this is not my life. So I applied to seminary, but I didn't have any money. Recession, I had moved to Atlanta, couldn't find work. I had depleted my savings. I was like, all right, Lord, I hear you. Like, I know I'm supposed to go to seminary, but I ain't got no money. So if you want me to go, you're going to have to give me that full ride, bruh. So that was the prayer. I got accepted to McAfee School of Theology at Mercer University, and they gave me a full ride. Here was the catch. I had to be a full-time student. And at the time, in 2013, they didn't offer enough online and evening courses for me to be full-time and keep my job. And I felt more called to seminary than I did to this job in the IRA department. So I left my corporate job and went to seminary and was like, now I got to figure out how to make money. So this is where the fashion comes in. Because
my God. Okay. All right.
So like I said, I've always wanted, I've always loved fashion, and the pocket square is my favorite accessory. So I got into a kind of a rut where I couldn't find the pocket squares I was visualizing in my head when I would go to the store. I was like, I need something that looks like this, and I could see it in my head. And then I would go to the store, and I'd never see in my head. I never see in the store what I saw in my head. So I would start going to the fabric stores, and I would just look through all the textiles to find what matched up with what I saw in my head. And then I would buy a little swatch of it, and I would just put it in my pocket. Well, I told you earlier, my mom is a seamstress. So she noticed I was doing that. And she said, why don't you let me finish off the edges on these, pieces of fabric that you're buying, so you'll have a real pocket square and not a piece of scrap fabric in your pocket. Exactly. Okay. So mom finished off the edges on one of them. And I was like, we got to sell these. And that's how P Square started. Yeah. I said, we got to sell these. And then P Square started like that day. Our flagship item was a reversible pocket square. So you could wear it on either side or a mixture of the two. And that's how we came up with the name of the company, P Squared, like a pocket square, but it's squared on two sides, So that's how we named the company.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Okay. And it started from there, and then it just grew.
Right, because you sell. At this point, is the list of what you don't sell might be shorter than what you do sell. I mean, you're far beyond pocket squares at this point.
Yeah.
So now you're in seminary. First of all, that's like starting two jobs right there.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
In seminary, and then you starting a company. How are you managing this?
That really wasn't all that difficult, because I was able to put the time into P Squared that I had. Like, I didn't have any pressure to make P Squared something great. It was something I enjoyed and something I wanted to figure it out. So honestly, it's harder to manage my life now than it was then when I started seminary and started a business with my family. I just did what I needed to do. Like we would go to conferences and, exhibit and just kind of get a feel for the market. And it taught me a lot about who my target market is and how to position my products and position my services. Team? Yeah. We have to figure it out.
That's guerrilla marketing 101.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, you think you know people, but you have no idea.
No idea.
Just really don't. Okay. So P Squared is taking off. Now, in 2018, something special happens. But I want to know, what created the idea that you even needed to gather in your apartment. How did that even How did that idea even form for you to form the idea that I think I want to start my own church? Like, that's not no small task.
I didn't want to start my own church. On God, I had no desire to start my own church. So I was in seminary and, I'm trying to build P squared, trying to get my degree, keep my grades up. And I had a class called Ministry with Adults. And one of the requirements of the course was to teach an adult Bible study for 5 to 8 sessions. This was the spring of 2015. The church where I was currently serving as a minister did not have a platform on which I could teach this class because they didn't have Sunday school, which was the day that I was available. And while they would have allowed me to teach Wednesday night, I had a class Wednesday night, so I couldn't teach at the church on Wednesday night. So my only option to fulfill the requirements of the class was to gather people in my apartment so I could teach this class for this assignment. So I called some friends and family, asked them to indulge me for about 6 weeks. We were going to do a study through a book of the Bible. We did the book of James, and they said, sure, we'll come. We did the first session. At the end of the first session, because of the teaching approach that I took and the way people responded to it, my wife said to me after everybody left, you're going to have to keep this going after this assignment is over, right? I was like, girl, you tripping. I'm trying to get this grade and I'm out of here. She was like, okay, we gonna see. So we did 6 sessions, right, with the group. And at the end of the 6th session, I was like, all right, y'all, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate y'all indulging me for this project. This is the end of it. And I'm in the middle of my farewell speech and they stopped me like, hey, whoa, no. No, this ain't the end. Like, we got to keep this going. We'll be back next week. What are we studying next? I said, what? And the small group never stopped. They kept meeting in our apartment every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. from 2015 to 2018 until we turned it into a public ministry called the Faith Community.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Talk about calling. That's a lot of time to be committed.
It served me well because in that time frame, between that 2015 to 2018 time frame, I became disenchanted with church. Like, I didn't go to church. My small group was my church. I was a minister at a church that where the pastor preached this message shortly after the Supreme Court ruling about marriage equality, and he basically condemned the ruling. And I was like, oh God, like, I do not agree with him on this. And since we're having conversations about me serving in leadership in this church, I should at least let him know I don't agree with him on this. And then we can figure out how we can navigate this together. And I shared that with him. And I said very clearly, I have no desire to preach against you in your own church. I'm not going to do that. I just want to figure out how can we effectively do this where I don't also have to preach against my own convictions. And he said, well, if you can't get with me on this topic, then there's no place in leadership for you in this church. So I was like, okay. And I don't think he realized how resolute I am in my convictions. So I said, okay. And I left the church because I didn't come there because I needed somebody to preach to me. I came there because I needed an opportunity to practice my gift and hone my craft as a community builder and a faith leader. So when I realized there was no opportunity for me to do that there, I just stopped going. And then my small group was all I had. I didn't go to church on Sundays. Pamela and I went to brunch every Sunday, and it was amazing.
I mean, what does it say? A church is where, 2 or more gather, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. It sounded like y'all was having church for 3 years to me.
Yeah. In the apartment on Thursday nights.
So what about what happened in 2018 that was like, I think I should like formally, like, why didn't you just continue on that?
So again, it wasn't something I was trying to do. A friend of mine.
Yes, we here.
Yeah. A dear friend of mine, Adam Gray, he pastors Circle of Faith Church in St. Petersburg, Florida, but we went to seminary together. He called me out. He called me out to coffee one day, which was like nothing out of the ordinary. We both lived in Atlanta. We would try to get together and converse from time to time. We sat down for coffee. I thought it was a regular day. And then he said, "So, Kristian, what the hell are you doing?" I said, whoa, wait a minute, chill. What do you mean? What am I doing? Like, he said, he said, you got a whole church meeting in your apartment every Thursday and you're not doing anything with it. I was like, bruh, I'm not worried about this ministry thing. I said, look, I'm trying to build my business. Like, I done started this business with my family. You know, I'm an entrepreneur. Let me build my business and then maybe I can figure out ministry after that. And then he just like ripped into me. Like he just started hitting me over the head with everything. And not like beating me up or beating me down, but just like convicting me about my calling and saying like, you can't escape this. And he said to me, he said, I think one of the reasons why you're not considering moving this small group beyond your apartment is because as long as it's in your apartment, you don't have to ask anybody to help you.
Ooh.
He said,
you don't like asking for help.
He said, if you expand it, then you got to depend on other people to help you. And I gave him every comeback I had. And he rebutted everything. Though. And then, yep, he was. And then he said, listen, you don't have to believe me. He said, have conversations with the people in your small group. Ask them what they think about turning this into a church. And if they don't want to do it, then forget what I said. But if they want to do it, you should listen to them. I was like, cool, that's fair. I'll go talk to the people in the small group.
Congregation.
I went and had personal conversations with the 7 to 10 people who were in the group. And I said, you know, what did you think about this? And the consistent reply was, we just been waiting on you. I'm like, what? Y'all really want to start a church? For what?
Did you say why? Why?
What are we doing this for? And I listened and we started the church. So here we are.
Wow. Okay. All right. So I don't know. Maybe because feels so like it feels a little like Wildest Dreams to me a little bit. Like I don't know. Like it doesn't like first of all, maybe young me is like really living through this moment because number one, I never would have thought that like there'd be a day. Like, I don't know, maybe because I don't think about church this way. In my mind, like, church is the oldest institution on the planet. So, like, the fact of hearing, like, a birth story sounds wild to me. Like, a church was born in my day. It don't seem like something I could fathom. But you did. The 11 people that was in your apartment did. Like, okay, so you start a church. You're growing a business. When do you decide to take the church out of your apartment? Because you already agreed to do it, but I'm pretty sure you didn't like move out of your apartment right away. Like, what was the moment?
So we paused the Thursday night gatherings for the small group and replaced it with core group planning sessions. Okay. So, I asked a few people to be a part of the core group to start the church. And we had planning sessions for a few months to figure out what it would look like. And we established some relationships and found a church that we could collaborate with so we would have a space to gather publicly. Okay. And August 2018 is when we had our first public gathering on a Saturday afternoon at 4:00 Eastern at Northeast Baptist Church. And I think
that's why we meet on Saturdays at 4 p.m. You know what? I'm stealing this clip.
Yeah.
And I'm showing it to everybody because every time I tell people I go to church on Saturdays at 4 o'clock, you're a Seventh-day Adventist? No.
No, let me tell you why.
I never knew the story, but now I know.
Nah, let me tell you the whole story, right? So we collaborated with this church, Northeast Baptist Church. Their congregation has Sunday morning programming. Obviously, that's when Baptist churches, have worship Sunday morning. And as a part of our collaboration, my wife and I were helping them to serve their youth ministry. So my wife and I were also doing ministry on Sunday morning with Northeast Baptist Church.
Got it.
So we had to figure out, as the faith community, when are we going together? And I was not even considering Sunday evening. Sunday evening is not a time I want to have consistent gathering for church. I just don't. So that was out for me. So then we looked at Saturday and said, so should we do Saturday morning? Should we do Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening? And Saturday at 4 just seemed like that time where, unless it's the football season, there's nothing that's generally planned for Saturday at 4.
That is absolutely true, because I think about that every time it's time to go. I'm like, you either do something before or you do something after.
That was the thought.
Oh, so look at you already weaving through people's schedules, so that wouldn't be a thing.
Deterrent.
A deterrent. Yeah. Good word.
Yeah.
You got all the dollar jar words.
Yeah.
Got no podcast, but that's a dollar word.
That's fine. That's all right. So we knew families with children had a lot of activities Saturday morning, and sometimes they might run all day, but then for some families they will be over by Saturday, early mid-afternoon. And then for people who want to go out Saturday night, they're not getting ready to go out at 4. You're not going out Saturday night till earlier than 7 or 8. And then some people are not going out till midnight. So my thing is, we do it at 4. That give people plenty of time to still enjoy the rest of the evening. We're going to meet for that 90 minutes right there in the middle of the afternoon. And then everybody can enjoy the rest of their day.
Look at that. Okay. All right. That's a clarity I didn't even know I needed, because I never knew the answer to what the reason for that was. So it's tradition at this point to meet at that time. So now we can't change it, even though we want to change it because there's too much traffic.
Nah, I'm not married to tradition like that at all. I believe.
Okay. All right.
I believe in traditions to the extent that they serve people. And if the tradition doesn't serve people anymore, then I'm cool with getting rid of it.
Or making a new one.
Yeah, replacing it, getting rid of it, discontinuing, however absolutely.
I'm not opposed to that, because, that 4 o'clock is getting real. It's getting real heavy on me.
And that traffic is stupid. So I appreciate the way that you work with us.
It was a no-brainer. Okay, so I just thought about a story that I have that I don't think I've ever publicly shared. I know I've shared this story, but not to the internet.
Well, share it with the internet, Kirkland.
So, I'm trying to remember the month. I want to say this is November, October of 2019. I am meeting 2 of my clients to take their photo at... Where am I meeting?
Cigar.
No, we went somewhere before we went to Highland Cigar.
Oh, okay.
We went somewhere else that day to take photos first, and then we go to Highland Cigar to take more photos. And so we're shooting... By the way, I don't even know where those photos are. I need to go look for them. So when I tell the story, I'm going to take this part out of the podcast when I tell the story. So I need the photo. So I'm going to go look for it. But so we're going to take photos, and we're taking photos. And then halfway to almost finished, we're wrapping up the shoot. Big Mike says, "Oh, my friend is here." And I said, "Oh, okay, cool." So then you walk in the door. I don't know you at this time. Obviously, I never met you.
Mm-hmm.
And I am thinking, who this? Papa, who this man? And so, you start talking, and maybe 3 words in, I don't know what it is that I'm feeling, but I'm feeling whatever I now learn as probably anointing, but I know what that was. If you know the 2019 me, if y'all watch Kingdom Business, God, you get on my damn nerves. Like, that was me in 2019. Like, I don't want nothing to do with you and your people. Leave me out of it. Yeah. But I feel something from you as you speak. And might I add you, like, you're dressed in regular clothes. You are at a cigar bar. You are very, like, so nothing about this tells me that what you are a preacher. I just know you're talking and I'm feeling things that are associated with church. And I hate it, but I'm just like, well, okay, whatever. So you're talking, and I think y'all started talking about football at once, because if I'm not mistaken, I think football was on the screen, or basketball, whatever. There was a sport on TV. I don't watch sports, so there was a sporting event where people run up and down places. Okay, next. So you're still talking, and y'all start getting engaged in fashion, because all 3 of y'all own a custom clothier. So that's when I realized, oh, they were talking about you the day, but I didn't realize that was you.
Okay.
That they was going to meet a friend that also makes suits. So then y'all started talking about suits, and that's where I get real lost, because y'all were talking about things I still to this day don't know what they are. I think I was talking about, like, softwares and hems and shit I don't know nothing about. So then the conversation kind of veers back, and then you and I started talking, and then I said to you, "You a preacher?" I just shot it out, because I kept feeling it in my spirit. Like, we were there for over an hour, so this is bubbling up for an hour. I'm like, "You a preacher?" And then he was just like, give me this look where, like, you was like, I don't want to tell you, but since you asked so bluntly, yes, I'm a preacher at a church called the Faith Community. And I said, oh shit, I don't do this Jesus stuff. That's immediately what I said to you. And then you hit me back with the line that really shook me. You was just like, oh, but I'm not a regular, like, I'm not what you think a pastor is. And then I'm just like, okay, yeah. So in my mind, I'm doing all the things to, like, this, whatever this is impossible. So then I start telling you, like, I don't do church and then I start getting into my church hurt. And so, like, because I'm gay, I don't do the church. And you was like, we don't do that at my church. And then I remember you looked at me and you said, I'm not going to try to convince you to come to church. I'm just going to say, come to one of our Saturday at 4 meetings. Now, at this point, we weren't meeting upstairs yet. We were still meeting downstairs.
Yeah.
And you said, come to one. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's okay too. And that was all you said to me. I don't even think you told me anything else about the church. I think I looked up the rest when I got home, because I was so intrigued. I was like, what is the Faith Community? He's lying. So I looked up the church, and I think the day that we met might have been a Friday or Thursday. It was a weekday. I know it wasn't. It was a weekday. So the Saturday was coming up, basically, is what I'm getting at. And so it's Saturday. Saturday comes. It's raining. It's pouring. It's storming. It's every reason not to go. Now, let me tell y'all where I was at 2019. I didn't have no money. And when I say no money, I think I had in order to get the $3 to buy I don't want to call it Metro Pass. Listen, Martyr card. In order to get the $3 to buy the Martyr card, I had to transfer a bunch of dollars from like random accounts to make up the $3. I didn't have it.
Wow. My
best friend at the time, the only reason she was able to drop me off was because we had, she has an electric car. But I doubt we had gas money. When I tell you I had no money.
Wow.
And I said to myself, when I tell you that you stayed with my spirit for days, and I came up with every excuse on the book that day to not show up. And I had every reason not to. And I just kept telling myself, no, you're not going. And then I would feel this pull, be like, but you got $1 in this account and $1 in this account. You could put them together. Okay, then I would do it. And then something else, I'd be like, oh, look, it's raining now. I don't have to go. I literally came up with every single excuse on the book to not show up. Anyway, I decided to show up. And I've got to say, I was late. I was like 20 minutes late when I showed up. So y'all were already like in the session. To this day, I can't remember what y'all preached about. And you know the reason why?
Why?
Because as soon as I walked in the door, I felt a calmness that I had never experienced in my life. It was like I wasn't poor anymore. Like I didn't have no worries. Like whatever was happening outside it had nothing to do with me no more. I don't know. I just felt different. And I was just like, I don't know what this shit is, but he all right with me.
Wow. And you never told me this story.
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
No, I don't think I've ever told you this story, but that's the story that I tell when people ask me like how I started going to church. That's
crazy. That's crazy. You never know. You never know what somebody is thinking. You never know what somebody is processing, what they're going through in their social life. Like you have their financial life. You have no idea. I remember when I met you at the cigar lounge that first day. It was the second time I encountered you because I saw you on a panel.
Yes, I learned that I met you somewhere else. Where was that other place?
Simon's in Atlanta.
Yes. Yeah. At the, what's the name of it? Simon's,
yeah.
Yes. I totally forgot about that, by the way.
So I remember when I saw you at the cigar lounge on that second occasion where we actually had an opportunity to sit and chat. I remember there was one point you were looking at me with this like perplexed look on your face, like, who is this dude?
Because I was.
And I was like, did I say something? Because he was looking at me like...
people might call it territorial, but I'm very, like, protective of my space. Because
that's what you should be.
Actually, I don't like it a lot. I feel like it's too much work. It's all conditioning. It's like...
Well, yeah.
Things I'm working through in therapy, but just like always feeling the need to like watch my surroundings. Like I just want to be young, wild, and free, but I can't. So that's probably why I had that phase because I'm just like, who are you?
Yeah.
What you doing? What's your motives? What you want?
It's good to be protective of your space and your energy, but at the same time, you can do anything to a fault.
Yeah. And that's what it is. It's too much of it. Yes. Good. See, that's why you went to school and stuff. You know how to put words together. Yes. That's exactly it. I do too much of it. And I want to... This is me learning to trust the Lord. See, here goes like my journey. Because now I enter church and I'm finding myself having to like actually exercise what people call faith. Because I don't know what that is. I ain't got faith in nobody but me. And it's so hard to like allow yourself to let go. And I find myself constantly in this battle between like letting go, let God, as people say, and then I just be like, no, God, I got that. You can't take that. Because it's no. It's like if I give you that, then like, what do I have? It's almost like when you're so conditioned to trauma, when good shit start happening, you just be like, no, I gotta fuck it up. I don't know how, but I got to. Because that's the only way I know how to. So it's like, that's where I'm at in my life. I'm at a peaceful place. And that started with coming to church that day.
Yeah. People are more afraid of what's unfamiliar than they are afraid of trauma and abuse. 'Cause like you can be in a cycle of trauma for so long that it becomes familiar. So when freedom presents itself, it's like a threat to what is normal.
It is
it's a threat to what, it's a threat to the space where you made yourself comfortable.
Every time I think about freedom, I know exactly why some of the slaves didn't want to go with Harriet Tubman. I know exactly why. Because that's exactly what they were thinking. I know how to navigate massa. You not finna get me to be free because now I got to keep looking over my shoulder. No, I know how to deal with the master I got. We good here.
Yeah.
I totally understand that mindset.
The first message I ever preached at the faith community, and the only message, I've preached 2 messages twice in the history of the faith community. This is one of the messages I preached twice. The cost of freedom. Like that was the first message I preached. I was like, look, y'all, this way we do church and faith, it's very liberating. It's saturated in freedom. It's about loving yourself, and that's how you love God, so on and so forth. But y'all need to understand that freedom comes at a cost. It's going to cost you your community. It's going to cost you certain people in your network. Like, it's going to cost you some of your comfort. Like, it's going to cost. Anytime somebody moves from bondage to freedom, it costs them something. And if nothing else, it costs them their comfort.
Oh, I know, because it cost me everything. So I understand. It cost me everything. It's very expensive.
Very.
Okay. All right. This is not about me. So this is the part where I ask you about a famous Instagram photo.
Okay. Which one we looking at?
I don't know yet.
Let's see here.
Let's see. We gonna roll. I want to roll back. Look at you. Now you post too much. I'm having a hard time strolling.
Yeah. You know, y'all said I gotta be Instagrammy.
Yes, we want you for Instagram past.
You know, being a small business owner, like in this day and age, if you're not doing social media, like, what are you doing?
It's too much. I gotta wear too many hats.
Yeah, a lot.
I can only do one thing at a time, but I'm strong. Ooh. We gotta go with this one.
Ooh.
Because I kind of don't remember the story, but this is my favorite photo in life.
Ooh. Oh, your favorite photo in life? Wait a minute.
Yeah, one of my favorite photos.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Can you send that to me?
Yes.
Can you? Because the screen is blurry. It's been blurry ever since we started recording, so I can't. I see like your silhouette.
Oh, okay. I'm blurry too. Okay, but you're blurry, but I know that's not the real screen, so I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Sent it.
Let's see here. Ah, yes. So, what do you want to know about this picture?
I want to know. Tell the people the story. I know the story. This is the only time that this is weird for me is because generally I don't know the story behind the photo, but I do because I was there. But
right.
Tell the people they weren't there.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been creating content to promote P Squared for years now. When I met you, I really appreciated your work and I appreciated your energy, and we kind of connected on that level. So you've been doing photography for me now for what? Since we met, actually, like the day
I met you. Yes,
you took some pictures,
creating content that day.
Yes, you absolutely were. So this particular outfit, this jacket that I have on in this picture, was a material that my wife picked out. This was this was something where I said, all right, babe, you pick something out of this fabric book that you want to see me in. And she picked this particular jacket, and I pieced together the outfit to go with it. And I called you up and said, man, let's shoot something so we can put this out there. And I have been using these pictures ever since. I still use them.
It's the photo when you log on to my website.
Really?
Yeah, every photo. It embodies every single part of why I do what I do, why I was doing it for free, why I do it for money now. It's see, as soon as you go to Excel Shoots, it's the photo.
Wow. Wow. I love it.
Absolutely love it. It's the composure, it's the stand, it's the headroom, it's the command in the stands, it's the half smile, it's the y'all sure I don't own Ponce City Market while y'all looking at me funny. It's everything about this photo is why I do what I do for a living. That's why it's one of my favorite photos I've ever photographed.
I love it.
So now we're going to get into the segment that I like to say this or that. It's really just a podcast game. But I feel like it helps take the conversation to a different place because you end up learning things you just didn't know. So we're going to play an icebreaker game.
All right.
What's your theme song for life and why? See, I told you.
What's my theme song for life? I think my theme song for life probably changes from day to day or from week to week.
Jesus. What's happening?
Yeah, because it just all depends on what mood I'm in at the moment. So I'll tell you the first song that came to mind. And usually it's one of my favorite songs. So the song that came to mind first when you asked that question was I'm on a New Level by A$AP Ferg.
Okay.
I just, that song ministers to me. I feel motivated.
Yeah, it's a very motivational song.
Yeah. Even in the beginning, when he goes, hoo, I want a new level. It's just, I don't know, it just does something to me. And it inspires me to keep pushing beyond where I am. And it's not even so much pushing beyond who I am. I got to continue to tap into who I am to get to where I want to be. So it's I'm on a new level. And I'm going to continue to always be on a new level.
No level, yes.
Yeah, my level is going to continue to change.
Okay. My theme song is always the same. It never changes. It's Moment for Life by Nicki Minaj. That's my theme song for life. I fly with the stars in the skies. I am no longer trying to survive. I believe that life is a prize. But to live doesn't mean you're alive. Like, that is, like, every single line of that song is my life.
Mm-hmm.
That is my theme song for life. Like, when I'm hella rich and famous and speaking on stages and giving TED Talks, that's my walkout music. Like, that is my song.
You know another one that really speaks to me that I have really paid more attention to the melody until like 2 days ago, because you know all these like audio clips for reels, and I don't know if you're familiar with the one with the chick that's singing. She's like,
yes. I will be one of the greatest. Yes.
Yeah, like the lyrics to that song, like are amazing.
Yes.
And I remember her saying like something like, you know, creatives are ancient. I've been here before. That type of vibe.
Yes.
Like when I create, like all of that. Cause I'm a creative at my core. Like I love organizational structure and everything, but at my core, I'm a creative. I like to create. So like that resonated with me.
That song is very. It feels like it takes you places every time I hear it.
It does.
Yes, because it reminds you.
It does.
Like, you're gonna go somewhere one day.
Yeah.
And people gonna know your name because I will be great. Yes, I absolutely love that song.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Given the choice of anyone in the world whom you would want as a dinner guest, and this person can be dead or alive.
At this stage, it will be my dad. Yeah, my dad passed away in 2010, and I'm not a totally different person. I am a much more evolved version of myself.
And you'd love for him to see you now.
And I would love to talk to him about it. I would love to have a conversation about like, so Dad, tell me what you think about this, and tell me what you think about this, and what you think about this, and let's have a conversation about this. And part of the reason would just be to confirm what I already know, and that's that my dad will be proud of me. There are a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, there are some people who don't think my dad will be proud of me. And some of them have been bold enough to say it to me, have been bold enough to say to me directly that like, oh my God, your dad will be rolling over in his grave if he knew what you was doing. And I'm like, you don't really know him, do you? Like, I know my dad will be proud. And my mom always tells me, she's like, yeah, the people who think that don't really know your dad as well as they think they do. So it would be cool to sit down and have a conversation with him at dinner and catch up and converse with him about where I am in life and in ministry. Yeah. What about you?
Ooh, I don't know. Who would I want to have dinner with? Ooh. I have all the questions, but I can't remember his name right now. Rustin.
Bayard Rustin.
Say it again?
Bayard Rustin.
Yes! Mm-hmm. I would want to know, what was it like to be gay in the 1960s and 50s and 70s? What was it like? And give me the strength. Because I need my ancestors right now. The gay ones too. Because it's hard out here.
Yeah. That was a different life. You know, I think about it in terms of how in every generation whatever we fight for justice wise, the generation coming after us will be able to appreciate the fruit of our labor.
And I love that part, but I hate it. Because what about the
Yeah, I mean, you love it for yourself. Yeah. And then what you're fighting for, you won't reap the benefits of that. The people coming after you are going to reap those benefits.
Nope. You won't.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be ungrateful.
Right.
I think about that all the time. I'm like, I'm crawling so y'all can walk and then y'all can run. And I bet none of y'all gonna give me credit for all this work I'm out here doing for y'all. But you know.
Basically.
Okay. That's why I want my coins while I'm going through the motions. Because I don't want to spend 30 years of my life doing this only to get slapped in the face when I'm older. And the young people talking about something, you're not even relevant anymore.
Right.
Yeah. I'm Miranda Priestley your ass. You know why that blue sweater you wearing from the garbage bin? That's going to be me. Try me.
You ready. You done played this whole scenario out. You are ready.
Listen, because it be happening now. Sometimes you meet kids and they just be like, you just wouldn't know anything about this.
Oh.
So I know that I'm twice your age now, but like I was your age, you know, when I wasn't twice your age. And it wasn't that long ago. And I know that you think it's a long time ago, but that's because you're young. But let me tell you something. And then, you know, so I have these scenarios played out in my head for the young bucks who gonna try to, you know.
When you're young like that, you feel like you have an eternity ahead of you. It's like when you're a teenager, oh man, I'm gonna be here forever.
Ever and ever and ever.
Yeah. And you know, now I'm 38 and you know, I'm getting closer to the halfway point in life. And I mean, that's like based on expected, like how long you're expected to live, right? But I mean, heaven forbid I could be gone next week. You know, life is fragile. Life is fleeting. And the younger you are, the harder it is for you to realize that.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Okay. So in closing, what I want to know is all the things you've been through in life, all the changes you've endured, all the new levels you've already been on. What's one thing you wish someone either told you and you didn't listen, or you wish they told you, period, about what exactly you were getting yourself into?
So I've gone through a very significant transition in a number of relationships over the past 9 months. I've had I want to say 7 to 9 significant relationships transition.
Oh,
some personal, some business, some institutional. And they were like long-standing relationships, ranging anywhere from 3 years to my entire life. Right. There are some relationships where people saw signs that the relationship was going to go south because they saw how the other person acted when I wasn't around, and they didn't tell me because they didn't want to upset me. So when I discovered it for myself and ended the relationship, there would be so many people in my network who would be like, oh yeah, well I knew because they did this and they did that and they did this. And I'd be like, why didn't you tell me? Like, that's information that would be good for me to know. Even if I don't take any action on it immediately, like it would still be good for me to know that this is who this person is behind my back. I want to be around people who speak well of me behind my back. You know, who stick up for me, who defend me behind my back, who don't just tell me in person like, oh man, you're great, you're this, you're that. But like when I'm not around, are you saying the same stuff? So it would have been, I feel like it would have been helpful had people shared that information with me. But I get why people didn't know, because you take a risk when you put that out there.
Yes.
Because the person that you're sharing the information with may hold it against you. That's just not my personality. So it pains me that so much was withheld from me, when had I been told, it probably would have saved me a lot of trouble.
Yeah. I wonder something. I wonder, is the lesson here something I think about all the time? Permission. Sometimes people don't know that they have permission to be their fullest self in your presence. Meaning they don't know that they have permission to be that honest. Because they probably are in relationships where they can't be that honest. So they couldn't fathom what that looks like to somebody else.
Yeah.
We just talked about the cost of freedom. It sounded like that might be one of the costs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's real.
Okay. All right. Well, the people, I don't know if my platform knows you really well, but the goal is for them to know you much better now. Tell them where they can find you if they're moved the way I was moved on that beautiful Thursday afternoon. Tell them where to find you.
You can find all things Kristian A. Smith at KristianASmith.com. So it's Kristian, my middle initial A, last name Smith.com. And from there, you can get access to the faith community, which is the church that I started, that Kirkland has been such a significant part of. Also, our podcast community, Holy Smokes, Cigars, and Spirituality. You can also access Holy Smokes from our website, or you can go directly to holysmokesmovement.com. But at Holy Smokes, we deconstruct harmful theology and we build beloved community one cigar at a time. And from KristianASmith.com, you can also access my clothing company, P Squared Clothiers. And we create distinction without distraction at P Squared. So we make you look fly. We make you stand out without people looking at you like, what the hell does he have on?